Hey everybody, welcome back to another news roundup. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. This should be fairly quick just because not much happening this week. A few things here and there noteworthy, but mostly a pretty light week. And I also don't have so much time to record this because I'll be out to see a film in a few minutes. So just gonna get right into it, and yeah, so let's dive on in. So the very first thing that I want to discuss, kind of the big thing that happened this week was revolving around the Blair Witch Project, specifically the announcement of the remake of the Blair Witch Project from Blumhouse and Lionsgate, which I'm not entirely sure if they have done a remake previously. I know that there was one in 2015. I'm not sure if that was Blumhouse and Lionsgate. I'm not entirely sure, but there is another remake in the works, and the announcement came last week. I didn't care to really discuss it just because, well, I have actually personally not seen the original Blair Witch Project and not really familiar with the whole thing. I know that they've redone it a few times, but it's never found any that's be that noteworthy. What I do find interesting, though, is that when the announcement of the remake came out, the original cast from the original Blair Witch actually put out a group letter requesting for studios to include them in future discussions and future compensation, which includes involvement in promotional material, residuals, consultation on all things Blair Witch, including like video games, whatever, and payment, quote, equivalent to the rates of SAG-AFTRA and the standard of if they were represented. If the standard of which, if they were represented, if said film, the original film, would have been released today. So, in translation, what that all means is that they want money, and they want to try to squeeze it out of the studios. Essentially, they're just trying to manhandle these studios and trying to just get as much money out of them as possible. To which I say, why? And I mean, I know why, because people are greedy, but they are not entitled to that money in any capacity whatsoever. There's no contract. There's no residuals, which I think are silly. I mean, the whole point of residuals I think is silly, but whatever. No investment into these new productions. No ties to the original production with this company and their ties outside of the license that they now own. There is absolutely no connections to speak of, so they're just speaking out of their ass and just asking for things out of their own greed, essentially. So, because you don't come in with rules, they set the rules for you, okay? So you knew the job, you took the money, which, mind you, I believe was like $300,000 per performer, and they're still not happy after 20 years? I mean, just shut your faces. Like, come on. So I think it's absolutely silly, and I don't see where they have deserved that money, and it's just silly. So yeah, people just being greedy, but that's sort of the business now, isn't it? So yeah, they want money, and I hope they don't receive it, because they don't deserve it. So okay, moving on to another story revolving around Megalopolis, something that we discussed a few news roundups ago. It had a little bit of a troubling test screening and mute, we'll say, responses from the test screening, not to mention some of the pricey demands that Coppola was putting up, specifically in the marketing, and the price tag of the film itself being about $120 million. It was not looking too good for Coppola when it came to distribution. Well, he since then has taken the film to Cannes to market it, to sell it, hope potentially to buyers out there in the festival. And it looks like he might have received somewhat of a win in that he has received some form of distribution in the foreign market through Le Passet, I think that's how you say it, which is an indie company based in France. Now, the company is known for distributing some notable projects such as Anatomy of a Fall, which I really like, and Jeanne du Barry, the Johnny Depp film that has some controversy surrounding it. The movie where the director says Johnny Depp was this, and then had to do PR speak, some PR control to try to not look a certain way. I read that somewhere. That's ridiculous. But it looks like he has gained some form of distribution. But the deal being made, to be noted, for as far as I read it, is that the film is only playing in France, or just in the foreign market, and I'm not getting a worldwide sort of deal. So, I mean, this was exactly what I thought would happen. We said it before when we talked about Megalopolis, that this is something for an indie company to sort of swallow up, to draw a name value from, and it seems as though that's the case with Le Passé, who is taking control over this, or at least looking to invest into this sort of thing. It's not justified, it's not smart, even journalists, like people who are writing about this, don't see it as a good grab also. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good move, but somebody was going to get it, and I presumed, since no major studio was wanting to get it, that some indie company would get it. And well, here we are. So at least it will get some sort of theatrical run, but not enough to justify the millions of dollars put forth by Coppola. So yeah, I mean, good luck to the company, but really, this is not going to hurt you. This is going to hurt you guys a lot. Like, this wasn't a smart move, but it was to be expected. Somebody was going to buy it. Somebody was going to make the dumb move, so I guess Le Passé decided to do it. So yeah. So it's unfortunate, but it is what Coppola set himself up. It's how Coppola set himself up, so... And for this company also, So yeah, so not really a smart move, but like I said, it was to be expected. So moving on from that, let's talk about Sony Pictures for a second. They've moved around a couple of dates for two films specifically, which I think kind of illustrates confidence in one film, and not so much confidence in another. So the first film that moved was Kraven the Hunter, which was supposed to come out on August 30th of this year, has now actually been pushed back to December 13th of this year. And the film that was supposed to come out on that date, December 13th, the new Karate Kid movie, has been pushed all the way back to May 30th of 2025. So the Karate Kid will now be occupying a summer release, and Kraven the Hunter will be occupying a holiday release. This pretty much tells me that Sony isn't confident in Kraven the Hunter and pushing it as far as possible, as they should be, because who's going to see this? I mean, really, after Madam Web, yeah, I severely doubt anybody is going to check this out. And I think that Sony is just hoping this just sort of just gets just put under the rug or something like that, That's what I'm guessing, if they're pushing in the holiday season, because what person's going out to see this, really? But positioning Karate Kid for the summer may signal some confidence, or maybe that's just where it's ending up for now. Who knows? But yeah, moved around a couple dates, and I think it just illustrates Sony's confidence level with certain projects and not so much of others. So there you have that. Alright, next topic is going to revolve around Aaron Sorkin, who you guys know is a notable screenwriter, done some stuff here and there, also is a filmmaker, did a film recently, The Trial of Chicago 7, which I actually quite enjoyed. He was talking on a podcast about potentially writing a spiritual follow-up, that's the way he's putting it, to The Social Network. And the idea behind it is pertaining to the influence of social media impacting the January 6th riots at the U.S. Capitol. And that's what he's basing his screenplay on for potentially The Social Network 2, or at least a sort of spiritual follow-up to that sort of thing. I don't believe that he has to piggyback on The Social Network to tell this sort of story, as the subject matter is far from connecting to the original ideas that the film the original film, The Social Network, was carrying, which revolved around ego, greed, corporate. You know, that's what The Social Network was primarily about. You know, and outside of the perspective of those riots, of which he's like attaching Facebook on, saying that Facebook was like the main reason for why the January 6th riots happened, which, I mean, it has, there's some merit to it in a specific point, but not completely credible if you ask me. I mean, outside of that, just statement that he makes about Facebook, the accusation about Facebook, it'd just be best to just create a separate piece rather than billing it a certain way, because the connections are just much too thin. So I mean, interesting because it's Aaron Sorkin. I would be curious to see what he creates. But as the Social Network 2, or saying that it is in the same vein as the Social Network, I think that he might be just misunderstanding or twisting what the Social Network was. So, or maybe I'm twisting it, because it's been a while since I've seen it, but from my memory, it was not political. So yeah. So interesting to hear Aaron Sorkin writing more stuff, but I believe he's misjudging his the film that he wrote in the first place. So, and finally, just to finish up here, we have one trailer to discuss. It's something that I just heard about, and it made me laugh, and that is a horror version, an R-rated feature of The Little Mermaid exist. Yes, it does exist. I forget the company who was making it, but I saw the trailer today with my brother, and it is horrible. It's very, very trashy, very low budget. It is pretty much in the same context as Blood and Honey, in that it is just utilizing a license with really bad performers, really cheap production. It's just cashing in, essentially. And I never knew, though, that The Little Mermaid was public domain. So that's interesting, I guess. But no release date to speak of, no real notability, you know, just with directing, acting, nothing notable there. It looks very, very cheap. And just, you know, I don't know. I didn't know what else I was expecting. But it's just a strange period we're in with all these public domain films taking shape, with Blood and Honey kind of being that tipping point. And now we have a Bambi film, a Bambi horror film. We have Blood and Honey 2, which came out, and now we have this. It's interesting. And now we have the whole Mickey Mouse thing also happening at the same time. So it's just rather strange, you know, and it's just people who don't have any ideas whatsoever just cashing in on a trend. So, and this is more to that. So, more to that claim, and this just proves more of that claim. So yeah, looks ridiculous, looks pretty bad, and I sure as hell will not be checking it out. So, but those are the news bits for this week. A little quick video for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to be heading out now to go check out a film. You'll be seeing a review tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know all your thoughts about all these topics, about Aaron Sorkin creating quote-unquote The Social Network 2, Megalopolis game distribution, the Blair Witch project, cast being weird, and the Little Mermaid thing. Let me know all your thoughts on all these topics in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.